Hi guys, welcome back to another video from HMS. I'm OJ, as you already know, and it's a pleasure to be back with you today. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope school is going well and you're taking care of yourselves and your minds and your bodies as best you can. So today we are going to be discussing something that is very important and something that you guys have asked repeatedly, both in public on YouTube and also with people that I have around me, which is basically how to plan your revision for a major exam or even an EOP, but I'm taking this in more light of an MBA, how to prepare for your MBA and how to draw up a plan. So I realized that, okay, like I can say that I'm pretty good at this because even in my group study, most of the time over time, and with my friends, they usually ask me to draw up the plan, draw up the study plan, and all of that. So today I'm just going to be taking you step by step through how I do it. I know that these things are it's not a one size fits all thing. So I'm just going to show you guys and explain to you guys how I do it. And if you feel like this would work for you or this would be helpful for you, you can give it a try. And if it's not helpful, my dear friends and family, you can always trash it. Don't ever feel like you have to do something a particular way just because someone said it worked for them or someone said it's good. If you try it out and you don't like it, just trash it. So the first thing I do is I decide what exactly I want to study. Now, like I've mentioned in some of the vlogs, that sometimes I don't really follow my plans. I have this plan of, okay, this is what I want to read, this is what I want to go through and all that. Sometimes I don't really follow through, but I just have it like something to fall back on, so that every day at least I know that, okay, this is what I am supposed to be doing. So if anything comes up, if nothing comes up, I know that, okay, this is something I'm supposed to be doing, this is something I want to do, blah blah blah. I get it done if I can. So first thing is I stick with my materials. Medical school is very competitive. Everybody is intelligent, everybody is brilliant, everybody kind of knows what they are doing, and there are usually a lot of materials flying around. The thing about me, as I've come to understand myself, is that I like to finish my coursework before exams. I don't like the feeling of there's something I have not read, even if I just read it once. So knowing that about myself, I pick a material that I very well know that I can finish. Okay, so if my exam, let's say my part 1 is a month away, I'm not going to pick Kitsmore and say I want to finish it from top to finish, because I'm just very realistic and honest with myself, and I know that it's not going to work. So I pick a material and I stick with it. What usually happens is that when you've picked your material and you've tried it out and you are reading it, you now see somebody else with a different material. You now feel like, hey, won't I be missing out on that? I think you just have to be self-assured and self-aware enough to know that this is what I want, this is what I'm sticking to, and no matter what happens, I'm going to stay with this. I'm not saying you should be rigid, but be confident in your choices and stick with it, because if you keep changing what you initially chose, you would eventually not end up finishing anything. There are times when, yes, maybe a lecturer recommends and specifically states that, what, this is where my questions are coming from, read this. In situations like that, then most definitely you want to take that into account and try to fit it into your schedule. But I'm just saying, don't be easily swayed by the noises of others. There's a lot of noise and distraction in medical school, and don't be easily intimidated. So just stick with your choice and choose. I've given some pointers when it comes to choosing. Pick something you can finish, pick something that you like, pick something that you can understand. For me, I've always been I like to read, so that's just me. I enjoy reading. I did not enjoy reading Kitsmore, and even though I knew that, yes, questions are going to come from this, I discarded it and went and read Gray's because I enjoyed that more. And I knew that, these questions, do I just want to, for the sake of the fact that they're going to lift questions directly from this book, put myself through torture and read it and cram it and then go and give it back to them? Or do I want to enjoy this process of learning anatomy and actually know it So for me, knowing something, of course, sometimes it backfires, but look at me, I didn't feel any of my MBs. Knowing something, the process of knowing something and enjoying it is more important to me than just, scoring a 90 or a 98. I'm okay if I know something, like I really understand the concept and I enjoy it. I enjoy the process of getting to know it, and scoring maybe 55 or 60. I'm good with that. So that takes me to my next point, which is set your goals on time. When you're preparing for an exam or a test, you have to know what you want, right? If you want a distinction, there's a certain amount of sacrifice and there's a certain amount of effort you need to put in. I think it's quite wrong, especially if you know that you don't have the kind of photographic memory or academic prowess to just wake up in the morning to exam. Although I don't think that's supposed to be medical school, waking up in the morning to exam and just getting everything done and coming out that's on top of the class. I think it's unlikely. But if you know you're not that kind of person that is just an outlier, and you always do well, you can just produce information. So I think it's you lying to yourself and not being quite honest, thinking that you can do less work and have the best result. If you know that, this med school that I'm going to, I don't want to be scoring 50s, even though 50 is the pass mark. I want 70s. I want to be a distinction student. Then go ahead and work for that. Do the actual work for that. I want to believe that all of us deep inside know the work we should do. We know how we should plan our lives, such that we can maximize our time. And if you want that life, go for it. But for someone like me, it's never really been my goal to shoot up, right? I wanted to have a balanced medical student life. I wanted to be able to go out with my friends if I needed to. I wanted to be able to travel home. I wanted to, have friends, have fun times, have a balanced social life, explore my other passions. So if I know I want to do all those things, I know there's no way I can eat my cake and have it, because it's not like I have a photographic memory or something. I know I'm not going to be scoring 90s in all my papers. So basically, I do the barest minimum. I know admitting this on camera is kind of weird, but I do the barest minimum. I do enough work just to get by. And this is not just to say that, you guys have seen my blogs. It doesn't mean that I don't take my academics seriously, or I don't give it my best. I give it my best, and I work hard best I can. But I don't deceive myself into thinking that I'm going to do exceedingly abundantly well. When I read, I try to read cover to cover. I understand the basic concepts. I have my outlines. I have all of that, and I'm good. I'm not gunning for best in class. I'm just gunning for, I passed my exams and I'm moving on to the next class and I'm becoming a doctor. When it comes to clinical skills, it's more important that you actually know those ones very well, because those are things that you are going to be needing on a day-to-day basis as a doctor. I hope I've made sense. I know I've ranted a lot, but basically set your goals. What kind of scores are you aiming for? This will influence how you revise and how much flexing you can do in between your revisions. I don't want to talk much on getting to know yourself, because Tosin of HMS has done so well with that in our video about the secret ingredients to success in medical school. So I'm not going to talk about getting to know yourself. I'll say my next point is plan backwards. Plan backwards. Now, before I really explain what that means, let me explain how I got to know about it. So when I was really young, I think I was preparing for my Premi 5 exam, right? Or maybe Premi 6, I can't remember. But I was asking my mom about, I have so much to do and I don't think I have time. And my mom was just like, why don't you try planning it backwards? So what that basically means is that, let's say for example, you have pediatrics and ONG exam. Maybe you have pediatrics on Monday, you have ONG on Tuesday. Why don't you, and you have 2 weeks to go. The advice is maybe use the first week, which is closer to you, the next week to you, to plan for ONG, which is the second course. And then the closer week, the next week, use it to plan for pediatrics, because pediatrics is what you're going to be doing on Monday. And you guys, I can't tell you how much this has helped me to just This has helped me so much, so much. Like, this is how I plan for everything. Like, and the thing about me is that once I have it on paper and the plan is set, my tension, the anxiety, everything just. Then if the timetable is not out and I need to start studying, what I do is that I go from what I understand least, what I really don't like, and then I go forward to what I understand, what I like, what I enjoy. So I tackle the hardest, the most difficult things first, the most difficult things that I know that are very, very important. Another thing that I usually use to draw up my plans are course outlines. So in my school, I don't know if this works for every school, but in my school, they give us course outlines, chem part, microbiology, orthopedics, all the timetable. Even if they don't give you outline, the actual timetable for your courses. Usually timetables come with the time you have the lecture, not the exam timetable, now your course timetable. And so that would, that gives you your syllabus, what you are supposed to know. And you've already picked your material. Now picking material, studying material now, it can be a textbook, it can be your notes, it can be PowerPoint presentation, it can be osmosis. And what I like to do with my planning is also that I integrate a lot of things. So that's my next point. Integrate things into your plan. So now you are planning backwards. Integrate things. You have your study material. Integrate fun things too. Integrate videos, integrate audios, integrate past questions. It shouldn't just be you sitting down at a desk studying. That's not a good plan. You are going to burn out and you are not going to enjoy it. I'm very big on enjoying things. I believe that life is hard enough. That's kind of my philosophy. I feel like life is hard enough as it is, and you should try as much as possible, every chance to get to just make things easier for yourself. Don't just block out chunks and chunks of work for yourself without integrating it. And a standing rule that I have when it comes to like planning is that I always plan less than I know I can do. If, for example, I know I can read 15 pages in a day, I don't plan to read 15 pages. I plan to read maybe 7 because I know I can exceed that. So that kind of gives me a eye. If I exceed 7, it's like, oh, baby, you're doing well. And on days when I'm actually stressed and tired, I know that 7 is something that I can very well do. So don't plan unrealistically. There's this thing that economics have and people in the business world, that is like the smart ways of setting goals, and I think you should check that out. If you're watching this video, just check it out. Smart, your goals should be smart. And so don't be unrealistic about your daily study goals, about your planning, about your study goals for exams. Make sure that it's something that you can actually do. And the only way to know what you can do is that you can rehearse it for a week or 2. Just look at your patterns, watch yourself, get to know yourself, build some. The truth is that surviving life and even in medical school, you need a degree of emotional intelligence, a degree of self-awareness. So take the time to study yourself, know yourself, and then plan accordingly. And then I would also like to add that you should allocate time for rest. Like I've said previously, integrate other things, but I would also like to say that you should integrate rest and integrate fun, integrate treats, integrate days when you're not going to study at all, where you just go out with your girls and have a good time, or days when you order something nice with your people, and it's just you just have that beautiful experience with them. So allocate time for rest, allocate time for fun. Usually for me, a day to my exam, I just make it a ritual not to study. I just relax, I order something nice to eat, and I'm fine. I'm not really an anxious person. So I think I always sleep before my exams. That's just me. But I know it's quite difficult for some people to get it done. So I hope this has been helpful, guys. I know I've said a lot of things, but I really hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Mwah. Love you guys. Please, if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. And remember, darlings, you can be doctor and happy. Thank you so much. Bye.